I was talking to Richard Barge the other day, and he said you should call Nick Marsh and talk to him about the endocannabinoid system. He's a really passionate guy. Well, what I could do is ask you a couple of questions first, to get us rolling. Do you have a definition of CBD?
CBD is one of 100 compounds called cannabinoids, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These cannabinoids have different effects on the human body, and CBD is the best known one, and it's one which has become known particularly for helping with pain relief. Other conditions where the brain isn't working properly, like childhood epilepsy, and generally with anxiety. So CBD is the most famous cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are extracted from the cannabis plants. So they're extracted and turned into a spray or an oil, and they're extremely popular where they're legal to buy, particularly in North America and Europe. Initially for pain, for just general anxiety, problems with sleeping, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's basically the definition. It's the most famous of the cannabinoids. There are other ones, which probably the next most famous one is THC, which is the basis of marijuana high. So THC has psychoactive properties when applied. So that's the second most famous one. So there's another 98 of these things.
Yeah, cool. Alrighty, and I take it that you just gave me that one off the top of your head, which is cool, which is exactly what I wanted. And I was wondering if you could do the same for the ECS.
First of all, not many people understand that the most interesting and significant story about hemp and cannabis is actually that there is a system in the human body called, ECS for short, the Endocannabinoid System, which in fact it has within it these same cannabinoids that we generate ourselves in our own body that are in the plant. So this is something that's only been discovered in the 80s by scientists, that this is so. So in other words, one of the key systems in our body that actually helps regulate and keep us alive, basically, keep us alive and keep us healthy, it turns out, is this particular system is affected by these cannabinoids. So cannabinoids are the device that comes into the system in the body and can basically make all sorts of changes in that system. So, for example, pain relief. So the biggest use of the system at the moment, probably there's, I mean, the health people estimate 160,000 people in New Zealand are using CBD and THC mixtures to affect their own internal ECS system and basically reduce or remove pain that they're experiencing at the moment from the cancer. So that's probably the most famous thing that's going on. It's actually the ECS system that you need to understand as to how it works. How can you actually reduce or remove that pain when nothing else will work other than opioids that will make you a zombie addict?
Yeah, I'm just writing furiously as you're talking.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just spinning this off the top of my head, but just I think an important thing to stress is that I'm just a regular guy who has come into this and has been seeking to understand it, not as a scientist or a doctor or an expert, but just as a regular guy trying to get a grip on it. I'm not like a scientific authority, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're doing really well, because everything you've told me, I already knew it, but the way that you put it together, point by point, the way you just gave it to me, that was new, and, so you connected the dots for me for, a few things there. And I'm sure that, that will come out. So, yeah. So tell us... Can
I just say one more thing?
Sure.
One of the things that strikes me is that one of the problems with cannabis and hemp and trying to get the message over to somebody who doesn't really understand it and just think it's all about marijuana, the problem is, where do you start? Because if you start talking about something which is such a difficult word as cannabinoid, you pretty much lose people pretty quickly. If you go to ECS, the Endocannabinoid System, you're going to lose them even faster. So what I realise is that you've got to start with just a simple question. hey, how does the body work again? How do we stay healthy? How do we stay standing up, for that matter? And you come to a concept called homeostasis, which basically is everything in our body is trying to keep us in balance. So blood pressure, temperature, we go into a hot climate. Our body basically says, oh, hell, we're blowing our circuits here. We need to get it back to 98.4. So basically we sweat like hell to try and regulate that balance, the homeostasis. Or we go into minus 30 degrees and suddenly our body goes into panic and says, right, hell, we're going to die if we don't change. So basically what we do is we shiver. So we shiver, which actually is a way of raising our temperature. So what I'm saying is, when you talk about this is the way it is, the whole body, every morning we wake up, we've actually got all these regulatory systems working for us to keep us alive and to keep us healthy. And so in effect, that's the story. And the point about the endocannabinoid system is it happens to be a main part of the mechanism of how it all works in our body, everybody's body. And that's the news story, really. Most people don't get that, never heard of it. I spoke to my GP about it, and I said, you guys are going to be, people are going to be knocking on my door asking for medicinal cannabis. Do you know what it is? Do you know how it works? No.